Rais William Ruto.
What if your level of education becomes your political armor? What if being called less educated doesn't just mean missing letters behind your name? It becomes a way to delegitimize your whole role in government. Welcome to Kenya 2025. President William Ruto is throwing shade and heavier things at his former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The battlefield: education. The armor: credentials, complaints, public perception. Ruto recently spoke to over 8,000 teachers at Statehouse. In a speech dripping with implied reproof, he said that one reason he kicked Gachagua out was concerns that a less educated deputy president was never going to help him run the country. He claimed Gachagua used to complain that he wasn't well educated and that Ruto initiated an expensive impeachment to remove him. Then, in the same breath, he praised his current deputy Kithure Kindiki. High education, dependable. Surround yourself with people who are more educated than you. They work and you take the credit, he said.
Asanteni sana. Ndugu walimu hamjambo. Walimu hoye. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Huyu naibu wangu mnamuonaje? Ni noma si noma? Ni fire si fire? Unajua ukitaka kufaulu, ukitaka kufaulu, unatafuta deputy amesoma kuliko wewe. If you want to succeed, you put people around you who are more intelligent than you. Saa ile wanakusaidia kushine, you take the credit, wao ndio wanafanya job. Si ndio? Nilikuwa na mwingine alikuwa analalamika hajasoma. Nikaona ataniangusha.
And just days before that, Ruto reminded Kenyans that he was the most educated president ever elected in Kenya. Apparently his knowledge and vigor set him apart. Drawing on 15 years as MP, 10 years as deputy president, Ruto says he has what it takes to steer Kenya toward first world status.
Unajua, mimi nimepata nafasi. And a very unique one. Number one, wale walinitangulia wengine walikuwa wazee, mimi si mzee. I'm a young person. Mimi niko na experience ya kutosha. Nimekuwa mjumbe miaka 15. Nimekuwa naibu wa rais miaka 10. Kuna experience nyingine mimi nangojea. Mimi nimesoma. Na nimesoma vizuri. I am probably the most learned president has ever elected. Kenya has ever elected. Sindio? So, mimi nangojea nani? I have no excuse. That is why I must do all these things. Munisamee kama nimewakosea, lakini wacha ninyoroshe hii nchi yetu inyoroke vizuri. This is what and I am very committed to it. Kubadilisha hii nchi. We must change this country. We are tumechelewa na kuzunguka na maneno madogo madogo. Let us for once focus on changing the country. Na mimi niko na bahati hata zaidi. Unajua sasa mimi leo ni kiongozi wa Kenya Kwanza, which is the ruling coalition. Na mimi tena ni former deputy party leader ya opposition. Mimi nilikuwa deputy party leader ya ODM. Sasa nobody else has the network kuunganisha pande hii na pande hiyo na kusukuma pamoja.
And here's what Ruto is actually saying, that education is a measure of leadership. They claim that having a less educated deputy was a liability, that Gachagua allegedly self-identified his own deficit. He kept complaining he was not educated. That credibility now rests partly on academic credentials, PhDs, formal training, or knowledge. These are tough lines, especially in a country where many leaders are already seen as disconnected from formal university paths or where education is unequally distributed. This is not the first time. Gachagua previously had even had a response to President William Ruto over his education remarks. He fired back. Yes, there's been backlash. Gachagua had accused Ruto of being elitist, of insulting, suggested Ruto is obsessed with credentials, while failing in areas that matter: cost of living, access to basic services, health, education, and many more. On social media, Gachagua's supporters argue that Ruto's PhD talk is a distraction. What good is a PhD if hospitals are understocked, universities are unaffordable, and teachers are striking? Meanwhile, Professor Kithure Kindiki is being showcased as the antidote to Gachagua. Highly educated, publicly praised, positioned as someone who understands government machinery, policy, and education reform, something many Kenyans argue. So Kindiki becomes more than deputy. He becomes emblematic of what Ruto wants to show the world, that his administration is serious about education, credentials, perhaps legitimacy. On X, many Kenyans are commenting that Ruto's constant reference to the most educated president feels like bragging layered with insecurity. Some are praising him, others mocking him. Memes emerge of Ruto reading textbooks, PhD slugfests, insinuations that perhaps being book smart does not guarantee wisdom or leadership. Gachagua's camp and critics argue that through posts that education without empathy, service, performance is empty, full of corruption. The rakyat care more about their lived costs than credentials. Also, social media sections, especially the youth, are pointing out that Ruto has destroyed education with his finance buddy John Mbadi. Someone's lack of formal degree could be due to poverty, marginalization, geography, not personal failure. So let's look at what the real stakes are. What's being fought here? This is more than insults over qualifications. What's at play? 1. Legitimacy. If leadership is seen as earned through schooling, what position does that give to those who didn't go to university or whose degrees are marginalized? 2. Voter perception. Can Ruto gain votes by saying I'm educated, my deputies educated? That is, look how informed I am. Leadership is meritocratic. That means education based versus leadership based on popularity, tribal influence, or political patronage. 4. Policy implications. Will the education system ever be improved under Ruto's administration, or is this just about optics? But is Gachagua really uneducated? Gachagua studied at Kabiruini Primary School between 1971 and 1977 and later joined Kianyaga High School for his O-levels and A-levels. Between the years 1985 and 1988, Rigathi Gachagua graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science and Literature at the University of Nairobi. Gachagua held the post of Nyeri District University Students Association leader during his university days. Furthermore, he served as the chairman of the Association of Literature Students while at the University of Nairobi. Between the years 1999 and 2000, Rigathi Gachagua went to the Kenya School of Government where he graduated with an advanced diploma in public administration. So what began perhaps as an internal rift over authority and partnership has morphed into a full-blown credibility war. Education as proxy for who deserves legitimacy, who has the right to speak, who gets to lead. If you care about Kenyan politics, this fight is central. It touches on trust, fairness, who is allowed to lead. And as 2027 draws near, the lines will sharpen. It's not just about policies and parties, it's about credentials, perceptions, and power. Stay tuned, because the next few years may show us whether degrees in hand are enough to win a country's heart, and whether having a PhD qualifies you to be the most intelligent person over 60 million others. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Bushabi Jr.